On behalf of the Bradenton Branch AAUW, I want to welcome you to our 6th Women of Achievement Luncheon. This luncheon supports 2 goals: recognizing outstanding contributions of women in our community, and to provide scholarships for women who might be recipients of this award down the road. Your attendance and support today help us accomplish both of these goals. On each table, there are a couple of sheets to provide you an opportunity to nominate a woman of achievement for the future. So we ask you to think about that, maybe think of someone and write their name and your contact information so you can serve as kind of a helper. We have several past honorees with us today, and we had communications from many others in wishing us best wishes today and also making contributions. So I'd like for Pat Glass to stand, wherever she is. Oh, right here. Thank you for coming. Barbara Harvey. Barbara Dravecki. We always like to see past honorees come back and visit. All of our basket items are donated. We thank everyone who donated and helped to get donations for this part of our project. Please make sure that you've gotten tickets, and you'll have other opportunities to do that, and that you've decided on the 1 or more baskets that you want to target for your win. The wonderful thing about the baskets is every single dollar goes 100% to our scholarship foundation. So that's a real positive for us to have such wonderful items to offer you today. Our Scholarship Foundation is a long-standing program for our branch. Our fundraising efforts provide us the resources to encourage applications and then to make scholarship awards in June. I would like Mary Ann Jensen from our Scholarship Foundation board to provide some additional information. Mary Ann?
I'm right here behind you.
Speak right into the mic.
Well, welcome. I think it's afternoon. Yes, we're 5 after 12. I want to welcome everyone here for this most greatest cause that we support with the AAUW Bradenton branch. As Elaine said, I'm Mary Ann Jensen. I am past president. I am filling in for Polly Bostic, who is our president, but is having some health issues, so could not be with us today. But I know she is with us in spirit. And if you look at your table, you will see these blue cards. These are our cards that give you information about our scholarship. I would ask you to take them with you and pass them on. As you can see, if you read the back, I'm not going to go through this all. I'm sure everyone here can read, thanks to the teachers in our county. And give those teachers a hand. And since you will see, we are sort of an alternative type of scholarship. What we tend to do, we try to find women or men in the last few years who have had some sort of a life change event and need help to continue either to go back or to start an education so that they can support themselves and their family. Today, we are fortunate. We do have one of our recipients, and as I said, it is an alternative. As you read it down, they need to be 25. They need to already have 60 credits. Many of them are in school today, and some have children that are having fall festivals, but we were lucky enough to have Petra join us today. Petra, stand up, please. Okay, Petra is with us for her second year. We also, another aspect of this scholarship is that we like to support them through all of their education as long as they meet the standards that are written on the blue card. And Petra, this is her second year. In December, she will be graduating with her BA, and she has just informed me today that she is also applying and going on for her MSW, and we hope that we can help her with that as long as she keeps those grades up and stays in good standing. So that is what we try to do. We identify people, women and men, who need help. We help them all through school, and we hopefully they are members. Many of them are teaching in our schools. They're working in our hospitals. They're going out doing outreach programs, all for us in Manatee or Sarasota County. So please, we hope today that you will have a good time. We hope that you will support our raffle, and then I guess that's it. Unless anybody has any questions, I could take maybe one or two. Good, no questions. I always love that. But enjoy your lunch, and as I said, it's a fun day. I congratulate the recipients, and I will tell you we will keep up this work to help the people in our county. Thank you.
Last week we received a wonderful surprise. One of our members, Peggy George, surprised us with a grant from Allstate. And Peggy, would you come forward, please? Oh, over there. I'm going to speak right into the microphone.
First, I would like to say that I am thrilled to be a member of AAUW. Education for women is past crucial, and I'm glad that we now have the opportunity to secure that education and go forward. Secondly, I'm very excited that Allstate chose our scholarship fund to contribute to with their maximum amount of donation for any one group. So on behalf of Allstate Insurance, I'd like to present a $1,000 grant to AAUW Scholarship Fund.
We had another surprise this past week in that Red Barn, who has supported us with various and sundry projects through the years, sent a check for $500 as a donation to our scholarship foundation. So
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Have you ever known someone that made you a better person just because you knew them? I think the ladies that we are honoring today are those kinds of women, and it is truly an honor for me to be able to be here and be a part of this. One of the things that makes women, I think, uniquely qualified to do some of the things we do is that I think we have a great capacity to love, and the ladies that are here today being honored have certainly shown that. Their love for their families, for their communities, for their state, and for our nation certainly show through. So let's think about that as we go into our first song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last to the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, oh, but just for everyone. Thank you. And again, I want to thank the ladies that we're honoring today for sharing their love with all of us in the community, because it truly, truly makes a difference. And speaking of making a difference, I have one more song for you. Carolyn and I tried desperately to find the sheet music for this, and we're not able to do it because I love singing when Carolyn plays. Doesn't she do such a terrific job? It's her fault I ever got up and started singing in the first place, because she was my choir director back at First Baptist when it's been a little while. We'll just put it that way. I was warned as a child of 13 not to act too strong. Try to look like you belong, but don't push, girl. Save your time and trouble. Don't misbehave. I was raised in a know-you-don't world, overrun with rules. Memorize your lines and move as directed. That's an age-old story. Everybody knows that's a worn-out song. For you and I, we are changing that tune. We're learning new rhythms from that woman. I said, the woman in the moon. Now, little sisters and little brothers, keep on pushing. Don't believe a word about things you've heard about asking for too much too soon. Yes. 'Cause they can hold back that tide, but they can never hold the woman in the moon. Whoops. But they can hold the music too. Wait a minute. I believe there's a best of both worlds, mixing old and new. Recognizing change is seldom expected. As I long suspected, they believe that different was the word for wrong. Well, not in a song for you. You and I, we are changing. We're changing that tune. We're learning little sisters and little brothers, keep on pushing. Don't believe a word about things you've heard about asking for too much too soon. 'Cause they can hold back the tide, but they can never hold the woman. I said the woman in the moon.
I just don't think an occasion like this is complete without some music. And these two women, I heard Mary Ann sing the second selection at the Women's Equity Luncheon in August. And I requested it for today, and they worked like demons trying to find the sheet music for that. So I feel like they really went above and beyond to try to honor a request. But I do believe that music really helps a celebration and helps set a tone for what we're about to do. As president of the branch, I've used the story of the starfish and the power of one as my theme. Thousands of starfish have washed ashore, and a woman is spotted throwing them back one by one. An observer comments to her, "There are so many. How can you make a difference?" The woman throwing the starfish back responds, "It makes a difference for that one." The women we honor today and will honor in the future embody that story. This year's honorees came to our attention in various ways. The program contains extensive information about these outstanding honorees. It started on a September morning in 2003 when a drilling crew pulled up onto Laura Ward's lawn and started boring a hole. She found out Lockheed Martin, most recent owner of the high-tech weapons plant, had hired the crew to determine if toxic chemicals had seeped into the shallow groundwater and spread beneath the homes of Ward and her 300 neighbors. With friend and neighbor Wanda Washington, they formed FOCUS, family-oriented, community, united, and strong, and began what was described in one newspaper as an amateur environmental investigation. The longer I investigated, I felt it was a professional environmental investigation. They traveled to county and state regulatory offices to see what they could learn about contamination. The rest of the story is history and has been chronicled in newspapers for years. The history continues. A fight begun by seeing a threat to their community's well-being, putting themselves on the front lines of a huge issue that is not yet resolved, are some of the reasons that we honor these two women. Laura and Wanda are women who were thrust into a situation and are still working to right a very serious wrong. The Bradenton branch of AAUW honors and recognizes Laura Ward and Wanda Washington for perseverance, doing what is right, and it's not over yet, and we're not sure when it will be. Please join me in welcoming Laura and Wanda. Please come forward. These two women are two of the most unassuming people to have taken on such a public mission as they have done. And they were very unsure about this whole experience, and I have told them that it is going to be painless, okay? I've got one of them crying already, which is not a good start to a painless experience. I'm going to ask each of them a couple of questions and just ask them in their own voices, because we see in paper some of the things they've done. But how has taking on this challenge impacted your lives? And sometimes those impacts can be positive and negative. So, Wanda, do you want to go first? Come on. Come on, nobody's going to bite, and speak right into the microphone. And how has this impacted your life?
I'm tired.
Tired.
It's impacted every part of my life. I think that we as residents and people, we need to be very aware of what's going on around us. We are our neighbors' keepers. What happens in your neighbor's yard affects you. You can no longer be silent. You gotta reach out and help people. We have to help one another. Everything is done in numbers. You vote on a president in numbers. You vote on your commissioner in numbers. We're a small group of people and we need numbers. As I read you, many times you don't remember most of acts by your enemy, but it's the silence of your friends. We gotta speak out, grab one another's issues, and work together for the good. Thank you.
I thought she was going to take care of all that.
No, honey, you have to take care of it yourself, you know? So how has this impacted you?
Well, as Wanda said, this is not as much of an impact to me personally as it is to my total community. And the impact is not any less 8 years down the road. It's just as great today as it was when we first made the discovery in 2003, early 2004. We're still living in a community with questions. We are still asking how this has affected us and what it will continue to do. So the impact is even greater than most of us will ever realize.
And either of you can answer this or both, but if you gave advice to a young person who may be just out there kind of not sure how to find the cause or a cause, what advice might you give them?
I'd say follow your own heart. Don't step away from anything that you believe in wholeheartedly. Just go for it. If it's worth it to you, then it's worth it to someone else.
Would either of you like to introduce someone who's with you today? I know maybe spouses.
Okay, my spouse is with me, and I have the total table is family. Marvin's with
I'd like to acknowledge my spouses here.
Marvin?
And I'd definitely like to acknowledge Bill Galvano, who's been with the Talavas community through its entire fight. Bill has gone over and beyond for the community. He stepped out at a time that he really didn't have to. He was not even our representative, but he saw a need in the community, and he came to us and stepped out.
Laura and Wanda have modeled for countless women what it means to support your community. On behalf of the Bradenton Branch AAUW, we want to honor your service as Talavast community activists by awarding you the Power of One Starfish pin for 2011. going to use yours and hold it up for just a second. These have been made by a local woman artist. Her name is in the program, and it's been engraved for 2011. So our honorees will be receiving that today. Thank you. Sherry Corrier found her calling in Manatee government work. The first director of the Neighborhood Services Department is a big title and many hats to assume. We know that working for government sometimes gets less credit than it deserves. We all need services of varying kinds at different times in our lives. Sherry caught our attention with her work creating a 10-year plan to end homelessness. We know the work is not done, but so much has happened that makes that goal harder to achieve. But the goal is even more important now. Sherry, we spotlight your work with a very current issue that impacts our entire community, and the huge need to recognize how relevant that task is and was. We honor her because she is working for Manatee County government in a time when it's not the most popular place to be. This models doing what is needed. Sherry Corrier, a warrior for the overlooked. Please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the questions that I kind of wanted to ask her was, as she's engaged in her work and career, and it's been a long, well, not a real long career, but a longer career, what has been an influence on your life? What has kind of guided you, to be where you are today?
Well, mostly for me, it's other people. There are a lot of you are here, and I was saying when I came in that I haven't seen a lot of you for a long time. But Pat Glass is here, Barbara DeVecchi's here, Mary Ann Barnaby, all those types of people that I get a chance to work with in government. I'd say I'm a people watcher, an observer, and see how people model, and those are the kinds of folks that have helped me along the way.
And how is the work you've done, how has it impacted you and perhaps your family and so forth?
Well, I brought my husband and my youngest daughter because my oldest daughter's in college, but lots of times people don't think I have a husband because I'm a lot of places. I'm usually with Charles at those places, and so my family's been wonderful. I think you probably all have the same kind of support that I do, but we tend to do whatever's needed and always find the time to get back together at home. And I think probably when my girls go off, I'll probably have to find some new things to do, but they've influenced a lot of what I do, and they really support me very much.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I would. My mother's also here. My mother, Martha Corrier, my youngest daughter, Shay, and my husband, Rick, and my close friend, Pat Johnson.
What piece of advice would you give to young people?
Well, interestingly enough, I have a 21-year-old daughter, and you try to give them a lot of advice. They don't listen, especially right now. But I would just have to say, model yourself and expect more from yourself than you do from other people. I noticed that when she went off to college, we never talked about her doing service, but she always was with me. I would drag her with me everywhere because my husband was busy a lot, and so was I. And she is doing service on her own. So I think that's the main thing I would say. Just make sure you get involved, and all the young people have an opportunity to come with you so they can see how hard you work, and I'm sure they'll do the same.
She obviously didn't need any guidance. She had it all growing up and through the years. Sherry has highlighted a major problem for this and many other communities, many communities are struggling with issues with the homeless. We honor you for seeing the need, setting a plan in action, and we all sincerely hope you're successful. On behalf of the Bradenton Branch AAUW, we honor your service as a warrior for the overlooked by awarding you the Power of One Starfish Pin for 2011. You're most welcome. June Isbell, mentor extraordinaire, has been a quiet leader. When I was talking to Vin Mannix, I indicated she was a reluctant honoree. When you read the program, you realize she very definitely belongs here today. June has had a leadership role in many of the organizations and institutions that provide support to make ordinary people's lives better. AAUW, League of Women Voters, Manatee Memorial, the Breast Care Center, upgrading medical machines, improving the pediatric ward, and establishing the Women's Health Center and starting the Women's Advisory Board. And the list goes on and on and on. June gets the work done and guides and nurtures others to find their place for them to get the work done. During a recent Women of Achievement luncheon, 3 of the 4 honorees recognized June's influence on their achievements. And I was speaking to Barbara Dravecki a few minutes ago, and she mentioned it again, that June was one of her influences. We really thought that it is probably time, and maybe past time, to honor that pervasive community influence. June Isbell, mentor, powerhouse, and motivator. Please come forward. I know. I noticed that.
They make me work for it.
It's getting your exercise after lunch and so forth. June was another one who really wanted to be reassured that this was going to be painless. And so she's another one that I had to promise that this would be painless. So I want you all to help me remain truthful with her. I'm, of course, going to ask you, how did you find your causes, the issues that you got started with and so forth? You need to step right up here.
I have a loud voice, so I didn't think I needed this. I guess it really went back to when I had to make a career change, because I was one of these, I thought I was going to go out and be a big-time lawyer. And I found out we didn't have scholarships and all available like we do today, that I wasn't going to financially be able to do that. Margaret Mead came to our university campus, and she was such an inspirational speaker. And she talked about how our human systems, economics, politics, religion, related to each other and how they affected our class structure. And she really got me very interested in wondering, could changes be made in these systems that would help everybody in different classes? So I became a social worker, which, you know, I thought I can go out and change the world at that time. So then I took my first job as a social worker. And one of my very first clients, I will still remember her always. I was taking her application for aid to dependent children. And one of the things that they needed to do was verify that they had made attempts to work. And she looked me straight in the eye and she said, "Look at me. This is my dress. These are the only shoes I have on my feet. I need to have my teeth taken care of. My hair needs to be done, and I have no child care. Where was the Women's Resource Center then? I had no resources to give her, but a little bit of money for rent and for her food. And I will always remember the despair that she had in her eyes that we couldn't help her and her family more than doing this. So I think that was one of my biggest influences. I saw many other people like that too.
That's a powerful story to hear. What advice or suggestions would you give to young people who are perhaps out there wondering, how can I serve a community? How can I become a part of it?
Well, that's a difficult question, and I really thought about it because that's one of the things you sent me. Not too long ago, I had dinner with a young woman that was working in Silicon Valley, and she really felt that women in my generation really didn't understand her. We were kind of immaterial, the things that we had done to try and bring about her opportunities. And I think that it's wise of us all to remember, things change. We need each other. And all women do need to have that social network and contacts to help them along. And I think find what you like, have fun, and remember Joan Caucus in Doonesbury? She was putting out application and application after 18 years being home. And she wanted to go to law school. And she kept getting rejected and rejected. And this little girl called Ellie kept saying to her, "You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to go into politics. You're going to be senator." And finally she got accepted. Joan Caucus got accepted. And the little girl said, "Dare to be great."
That's a good one. Is there anyone you want to introduce?
Yes.
I want June to introduce.
Yes, I have a special group of 5 friends over there. I was clerk at Precinct 36 for over 30 years. They all worked with me. We're friends today. We're of different political parties. We have different thoughts, and we have one of the main thoughts that we had in common was we believed that people were entitled to their right to vote, and we wanted to make it possible for them. So I say, and this is my way to say I thank you. And also Barbara DeVecchi and my friend Jeannie Jonkins, who was also president of the League of Women Voters, and my daughter Susan, who is a nurse and works with Medicaid children.
On behalf of the Bradenton branch, we're pleased to honor June Isbell, Mentor Extraordinaire, by awarding her the Power of One Starfish pin as an honoree for 2011. Thank you. You're welcome. Now, see, that wasn't so terrible, was it?
No, but you made me wait so long.
She is a 12th generation Floridian, which explains maybe her breadth and scope of work. Service has to be in her DNA when she can go back to a signer of the Declaration of Independence. She probably had no choice but to give back. This community has honored her over and over, and she has earned each one over and over. Joanne is a Renaissance woman for the myriad of contributions she has made to this community. She had a homeless shelter in her home on numerous occasions. Joanne's nomination was a first for us. Her husband was watching METV's broadcast of last year's event, and he said it was either very late or very early, depending on how you wanted to look at it. And he tracked me down, and he wanted to know what he needed to do to nominate his wife. He did, and our committee selected this warm-hearted, caring, determined woman who believes that we all have value. She puts her family and home on that path, ensuring that value happens for countless young people in our community. Joanne Dick, 12th generation Floridian, please come forward. Joanne, as you can see from the program, truly has a lot of history behind her. And some of it is ancestor history, but she's definitely one who has created her own history as well when you see her achievements. What advice would you give to someone who is looking for that thing to latch onto as far as service or a goal?
Well, as we began our service in homeless shelter, we would just hear things word of mouth or read in the paper that a young person from Holland needed a home, an American home, and we started there. We read in the paper that Vietnamese refugees had a family of theirs in refugee camps and needed sponsors for them. And so we just started like reading the newspaper, and then pretty soon we would have school principals calling to tell them they had a homeless mother of a young baby, or Manatee Religious Services called and needed a place for someone to stay, and sort of built up. And it became just exciting. Each one would be temporary, but it became exciting to know what's coming next. You know, each one was a great adventure. And God made beautiful people from all over the world. And then when we had the opportunity of helping those from 5 continents, actually, and God was leading us, and He was the head of our household, and so we just went from there.
You've already indicated a major influence, but was there someone or something else that was an influence that kind of steered you?
Well, my parents were from Georgia and Alabama, and they never instilled in any of my sisters and I any prejudices. And then I met my husband, who is a real people lover. And so with him and with God as our head, we just looked for people who needed help and homes. And
Okay. Would you like to introduce some people who are with you today? You have, they take the prize as far as support today. I want to applaud the support that she has today. It's phenomenal, but might there be a special person or two you'd like to acknowledge?
Well, I have my Uncle Lamar Graham, who is going to be 102 next month.
Oh.
I would appreciate his making the effort to come. And we have several of our children here. I have cousins, I have sisters from all over the country that came to, I mean, when you've got support like that, how can you not succeed in whatever you do? So.
Are you going to mention Ed again?
Oh, and that's, yes, Ed is very important because you can tell I'm not used to speaking in front of people, so I married him for his mouth.
Thank you. That line should be memorialized somewhere. On behalf of the Bradenton branch AAUW, we want to honor you as champion for children and refugees by awarding you the Power of One Starfish Pin for 2011. Joanne Dick.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been great.
Yes, thank you.
Each of our honorees has shown in her own way what an impact we have on the starfish we touch. Each of you throws starfish back. The work is important. It's every darn day, and it's not over for any of us. I would like to take a couple of minutes here to do some special thanks for getting this entire event together. There are members of the Manatee branch, AAUW, who have joined us today, and one of their members was the guiding light of this event, Faye Murphy. I want to thank METV for being here today because, as you heard, we got one of our outstanding nominees just because someone was watching the rebroadcast of this on METV. Music, I think music adds so much to any event, so I'd like to thank Richard Jensen, Carolyn Reynolds, and Marianne Barnaby for adding the joy of music to our afternoon. It takes a lot of people to pull this off, and we have a fantastic membership who has helped as we've attempted to bring all the pieces together for this afternoon's event. But there are two people without whom this could not have happened. You talk about perseverance and stick-to-itiveness. I would like for Jill Hirschfield, President-elect, to stand, and Sandra Hyland, Director of Communication, to stand. You cannot imagine the work that they've done to bring this about. Want to thank each and every one of you for coming this afternoon and showing support for women we love in our community. Women who go above and beyond and step up, and maybe there's our next year's nominee is in the audience today. Please, if you know of someone, put their name on the sheets. We would like for the honorees today to stay. We want to get some pictures of the five of you, so if you would please not dart out the door. But anyway, we wish you all a wonderful fall, a safe journey home, and a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Thank you for being here.